Live from Plan B in Southington.
Hair down, they got their makeup and their clothes on. It's unbelievable.
I know, I can't pick which one is which. I need names on the back of the dresses.
I'm a little bit confused. I was thinking that Dibble would be excited to be back in the hometown of Southington.
If that were me and I woke up today, honestly, I'd want to punch the wall with my face.
All right, screw it. Let's just get this damn show going. And now live from Plan B in Southington, here's Rob Dibble.
Oh, right on the corner of Queen Street and Spring Street, where I spent many a day and night, about a mile from my house,
Nice.
about a mile and 50 feet from the Western Little League, where I started playing ball when I was a youngster.
Now, this used to be a Friendlies. Was this the Friendlies that you worked at?
This was the farm shop.
The farm shop.
Before it was Friendlies.
They served ice cream at that spot.
Yes. And it was kind of like a breakfast place, whatever. And then Friendlies. And the crazy thing was my first job when I was 16 down the street here, there was another Friendlies that's now like an insurance place or something like that, and that's probably about a mile the other way down Queen Street. Then they moved closer over here in front of Kmart, and then this became a Friendlies, and you had two Friendlies like within 2 blocks.
Competing Friendlies?
Competing Friendlies.
Doesn't sound very friendly.
It wasn't.
It
wasn't a friendly competition. It was cutthroat.
We were here I think 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, and when we walked into Plan B, we were blown away. Like this Plan B,
I never would have thought it would look like
nicest.
this, and it is. It's really, really nice in here. It's it took our breath away because the last time I saw it, it was a Friendlies.
So burgers
and bourbon.
Is beer on the list, Amber? And beer as well. You can get that here, and we're here for the beer. Bud Lights tonight, $4 for the pints, $14 for the pitchers. They also have that Forever New England beer, the official beer of the New England
That's
Patriots.
right.
The Cisco here is going to be $5 tonight while we're here, $18
Well, of course, we
for
got
pitchers.
the same kind of beer we do as the tickets we're going to give away.
For sure. I'm glad you brought that up, and I found out the game, Patriots Buffalo. We
Sold
have
out.
tickets to that. It might be sold out, but you
Probably
can still
sold
get
out.
some tickets here at Plan B in Southington. You have to be here in order to win. We'll be doing that at the end of the show. On top of that, Dibs, have you heard? We talked about this yesterday. You have heard of this. The Sound on Sound concert that's going on in Bridgeport.
Absolutely.
Red Hot Chili Peppers are
Yep.
the headliner, at least in my world. They're the headliner. These tickets are expensive, extremely expensive. It's a 2-day show. There's over 30 bands. There's going to be like 30,000 people there. 1-day pass is $180. A 2-day pass is $280. We've got 2-day passes here to give people. So we have tickets with the value of $300. As you say, that Patriots-Buffalo game is probably going to get sold out. Who knows what the value of those tickets are going to be. And if you don't like either of that, we've got UConn football tickets. We got a little Yachty tickets. And we've got a whole bunch of Bud Light stuff to give out. So Plan B in Southington will be here all show.
How could you not talk about John Mayer, who's a Connecticut native?
Well, John Mayer's the headline the second day, right?
You're right. So John Mayer, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Alanis Morissette, the Trey Anastasio
And we said this
band.
the other day. I've never seen John Mayer without Grateful Dead. I've only seen John Mayer with Grateful Dead. I haven't seen.
Listen, my wife's a Grateful Dead fan, so she loves John Mayer with the Grateful Dead.
Oh, yeah.
They miss Jerry Garcia, but he is awesome when he's playing with them.
Great guitar
I have
player,
seen
man.
him on his own. He's just as amazing. He's such a great guitarist. It's like, to me, I grew up with guys like Joe Satriani and guys like that.
Friend of the show, by the way. Friend of the show.
You know, somebody that can play by themselves, not even sing, and it's just incredible. Eric Johnson is another guy that I could listen to his albums all day, just listen to him play the guitar. So you certainly want to see some of these guys like John Mayer in person and appreciate how talented they are, besides just being singers that I think most people take them for.
And on top of all those tickets that we're going to be giving away, we're getting people psyched up. That's right, psyched up. You Giants fans out there, don't throw in the towel just yet. I know it's a 10.5 dog tonight. I know that you guys are playing Thursday night football totally banged up. I think the left guard, the left tackle are out. No Saquon tonight. I say no problem. If you go in there with a loser attitude, you've already been beaten. This San Francisco team, I don't know, only 2 games. They look great, but
I think they're going to take you lightly. I think they take the Giants.
Anything can
They're
happen,
thinking
man,
no
in the
Saquon
NFL.
Barkley
Yep.
with no problem.
Yep.
So you go in there with that attitude, and you're down a notch, and all of a sudden the Giants come out, they get on the board first, they take the fans out of the game. I think anything can happen.
The only way the Giants can win tonight, I'll say this for sure, the only way they win tonight is if Daniel Jones is extra special. Extra special. And he's got an opportunity. I said this yesterday, too. They have an opportunity to move the football without Saquon Barkley and try to develop some kind of offense, a bunch of plays against a really good defense that they feel comfortable in moving on, because he might not be there next week. They say he's a quick healer. That was the quote yesterday. But it could be a 3-week situation for Saquon to keep him out. So, and here's the other thing. Were you surprised that Saquon got injured?
No.
Me either.
I'm
Would
not
you be
surprised
if he gets injured again?
No,
No,
because I
exactly.
think it's the most volatile position besides quarterback in the NFL. You're taking the most hits from every angle. Everybody's trying to destroy you. I mean, the Nick Chubb injury, you and I have seen it many times. Some guys are able to take the hit and roll with it. Sometimes, listen, I've seen a half a dozen second baseman and shortstop in the major leagues get their knees blown up at second base. When you're locked out like that and you have nowhere to go,
right,
and whether you're hit from the front, side, back, it doesn't matter. It could blow out your entire knee. I can't believe that the guy who made the hit has to apologize for it.
Yeah, Nico
this is what you
Fitzpatrick,
do.
yeah.
When you're
I'm not
flying
dirty. I'm not dirty.
When you're flying around and you're just trying to make plays, hit people, make tackles and stuff like that, just like this Blackburn kid from Colorado State,
right.
You don't need to apologize for that. That's part of the game. Whether it's clean or dirty, you know at some time you're going to take a rough hit. If you don't think that as a football player, you shouldn't be playing football. I mean, it's the same thing in baseball. They've tried to clean it up in baseball. You can't take people out at second base. I honestly have seen a lot of injuries at the lower levels where guys are trying to avoid contact. I don't think that's right either. So I just think there's got to be a compromise somewhere. But in the NFL, you're all out all the time. And your days are numbered if you're playing quarterback and running back. Why do you think they get the most money?
But also, you got to know that you're going to have to deal with adversity throughout the year. There's going to be games where you're not going to have
next
that
man
guy.
up all the time.
And every team has to be in that mode. And I'm just saying with these New York Giants, they need to be a little less reliant on Saquon Barkley. I mean, obviously, they have no choice right now. And if they can figure a couple of plays out with success tonight, maybe they don't win. All signs point to them not winning. But if they get trounced 40-0 like your boys did to them on the first week, they have more injuries. They're going to come out of this game not learning anything, not getting any better, and they're going to be a worse franchise going forward.
That's a great point. But the point is you got to play a clean game. As few penalties as you can on offense and defense.
That'll help.
You know, don't give the 49ers offense extra plays. They've got so many weapons that they can kill you. And listen, this is where Breed has got to step up. This is where your backup guys have to step up.
Should be used to it.
You know, listen, I personally would get Slayton and Hodgkins more involved with plays in the backfield.
You want your tight end Darren Waller to get a lot of targets.
Darren Waller, I want you to, utilize him and all of his abilities and things like that. So, I mean, you really haven't targeted Waller that much in the first couple of games. So what I mean by a clean game is that's the only way you're going to beat it. You can't put the ball on the carpet. You can't fumble or throw interceptions. I mean, those are some of the things the Giants can certainly be in control of. But if you start getting away from it and you're undisciplined, taking stupid penalties, and not being prepared for this game, this is a tune-up for the best teams in football. I think the 49ers are going to the postseason. They're one of the best teams in football, especially on defense and offense. I mean, they have so many weapons. But if you have a good showing and even possibly win this game, I think you open a lot of eyes around the league.
I still like the defensive front for the New York Giants. That's not going to change for me, I think, all year round. And they're deep as well. You can take an injury there and deal with it. But I love the defensive ends. I'm still in love with Dexter Lawrence. But now we're dealing with a couple linebackers for the New York Giants that are either going to be out or not playing. It's still not decided for Micah McFadden. You're starting right inside linebacker, plus the Sam linebacker, Azeez Ojulari. He will be out tonight. So, I mean, more than just Saquon Barkley, like the chips are stacked against the Giants tonight. But it is the NFL. It's, I don't want to say any given Sunday because it's Thursday night football, but things can happen in this league that you just never expect.
How about this kid out of Oregon, Kayvon Thibodeau?
Love
I thought
him.
he was supposed to be as good as our guy Micah Parsons on the Cowboys.
Well, give him some time.
All right, but that's what I'm saying. He has to have a big night.
Yeah.
He has to be the Nick Bosa, the guy, the A.J. Watt. He's got to be the guy that's the disruptor in the backfield. He's got to put pressure on Purdy and make that guy think that the world sucks for him. And that's what these defensive guys are supposed to do. Make that guy's a night of living hell. Don't give him more than 25 minutes on the field as far as running their offense. And I think that the Giants have a shot.
Well, the world will suck even harder for the Giants if they lose because they will be 1-2 when the rest of their division hasn't lost a game yet. That's including the Washington Commanders. Your Cowboys, who are looking really awesome, and then those Philadelphia Eagles.
Cowboys have a big test this week, Ben.
Yeah,
they got
they
the
do.
Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, they do. Hey, man.
I don't want to have a letdown.
Do you think, all right, for the Giants game, somebody was bringing this up. I wish I knew who put this in my head, but I thought it was really funny. I thought that Dobbs kid played great for the Arizona Cardinals. And I think in the third quarter or maybe at halftime, somebody had, radioed into his helmet and we're trying to lose, right, Josh? Stop.
Right. We're
Stop
trying
that.
to get we're trying to get the first pick in the draft next year.
So I feel like if you want to do any kind of gambling on that Cowboys-Arizona, take the Cards in the first half. They're going to be great in the first half, and then the owner's going to come down the locker room at halftime and remind them what they're really trying to do here this season. That's tank.
The anti-pep talk.
It's tough, though.
Right.
All right, so I've also heard that the Los Angeles Rams or maybe the Minnesota Vikings are possibly trying to tank for the season. I just saw that Cam Akers got traded to the Vikings and really got nothing in return for it, which was, who knows what's going on there.
We should have kept Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, I mean,
although he hasn't looked great in the first couple of weeks.
That's what I was just going to bring up.
I know.
But I'm just thinking that and I've always thought this because I thought back when Todd Bowles was coaching the Jets, it was like everyone knew that we were trying to lose as many games as possible. I think this is before Sam Darnold, before that draft. I get all the number one draft picks confused with the New York Jets on the quarterbacks in the last 20 years. But I just remember for Todd Bowles doing these press conferences, you could see it on his face that ownership has told him to lose. But it's still professional football. And if you try to play in that way, you may lose more than just the game. It's very physical and very hard to idle it down in any kind of way to to get an advantage in the draft. And really, tanking doesn't work, man. Tanking doesn't work. Go ask Joel Embiid how it's been working for him.
Well, they didn't call it tanking. They called it the process.
That's true. Well, the process in the NFL is going to get you killed. Going to get you killed if you try to lay an egg. New York sports ain't going so well, Dibs.
No.
Ain't going so well. Aaron Boone got thrown out of the game for the 7th time last night. He continues to argue balls and strikes. His team is way out of it. Michael King had a great night last night. They lost the ball game.
Listen, the Red Sox have been eliminated. The Yankees.
Is that official?
It is official. And when you're mathematically eliminated, I know you and I off the air, we were watching Giancarlo Stanton talking about how miserable his season's been.
Yeah,
I've said this time and time again. Nobody wants to suck. Nobody wants to go out there and embarrass themselves. I don't care how much money you're paying these guys. They're still trying. They're taking extra batting practice. Things aren't working out. The problem is you got to make adjustments. I read a really good quote today by Don Mattingly talking about showcases and practice and stuff like that. You still got to play in the games. And in a game, you're competing to win. And over his last 43 at-bats, he's 3 for 43 with 3 home runs and 20 strikeouts.
Oh. 3 home runs, though.
Yeah, but see, that's the analytics nerds would be going, oh, my God, that's great. He's got 3 home runs in the last 40.
3
no,
RBIs,
it's awful.
3 runs scored.
It's awful. So, and so when you're putting his feet to the coals with the questions, and he's like, listen, my whole season's been miserable, but I don't see him making adjustments. And that's the entire lineup of the Yankees. And so it's got to be frustrating for Aaron Boone to watch that every night. Probably went to Brian Cashman and said, hey, you got to give me something more. He goes out, he gets a middle reliever at the trade deadline. They knew they were cooked at the trade deadline. I give them credit for how close they came to making the postseason this year. But they did win 99 games last year. And when you're thinking about a team that was expected to go right back to the playoffs, I expected the Yankees to go right back to the playoffs. Nobody expected Rendon to come out of spring training hurt. That you can't control that. The bullpen has been taxed all year, but so is everybody's bullpen. But I think that he's not arguing balls and strikes. He's more frustrated that he is helpless to help this team turn the corner, make the adjustments within a game to compete at the level needed to win games in the major leagues. Listen, I was watching the Marlins and the Mets, and the Mets do everything they can to throw games away.
I'm so glad
and
they didn't last night.
I don't know how Buck Showalter doesn't pull all of his hair out. I really don't. I mean, it's just you watch some of the bad base running blunders, the not being able to move guys over, not being able to get guys in with like one out and a guy on third. I mean, I'd much rather see a guy bunt than strike out. At least you're trying to put the ball in play.
Right.
And that's so, I'm not trying to single out Giancarlo Stanton. I'm just saying he's one of the many, many, many players in the major leagues that have been brainwashed into thinking mediocrity is the new norm. No, it's not. People are starting to catch up to, hey, you guys are hitting 200. You're hitting 195. You're hitting 184. Even Schwarber, you and I talked about Schwarber yesterday. You could have 40 home runs, but have a 0 WAR, and everybody's going to start noticing that, hey, you know what? The checks and balances aren't balancing here. You're striking out way too much. I mean, so I just think that these guys have to make more adjustments within a game, not just over the course of a season. I haven't seen a lot of Yankees trying to do that.
So Dibbs is correct. The Boston Red Sox are out of it. They are 3 games below 500, 75 and 78. You've been just finger on the trigger for that one.
Yeah.
Finger on the trigger, ready to go for that one, Kurt. It's been a tough, Giancarlo, who cares? Kurt. Rough one. It's been a rough year for Curtis Kaplan and his sports teams, and the Boston Red Sox are on the top of that crap pile. The New York Yankees, however, 8 games out. If they win every game from here on out, Dibbs, and the Blue Jays, the Rangers, and the Mariners lose every game, they're in.
Listen, the Reds are 1 game out of the wild card with 8 to play. And you always control your own destiny, but they're running out of time.
I know.
Your Cubs have 10 games to play.
Gosh, I'm so nervous.
Some of these other teams have 10 games to play because of makeup games and things like that. But the Yankees, to be where they are, especially with the Blue Jays, Rays, and Orioles all in the same division, honestly, it's not awful. Yes, they're at 500, but they battled in the last month when they really didn't have the type of players. They finally got rid of Josh Donaldson. Now they're talking about trading Giancarlo Stanton. Honestly, I don't know what they would give you for Giancarlo Stanton.
Couple water coolers.
I mean, other than them paying off his contract to get him out of the locker room, you have to pay this guy another 6 years. Another 6 years. Let that sink in.
Wow.
And so that's the most painful thing. So, these guys don't need to be reminded of it. You and I do this every day, and that's our job, is to remind them of how poorly they're doing their jobs. But they have to look at their front office and go, listen, guys, we can't have these contracts we can't get out from under. You now have Cole, Rendon. Are you going to keep Gleyber Torres? Is he worth it for what he's giving back to you? So, and a lot of these young guys that are coming, I didn't even get to talk about Dominguez. So Dominguez had his Tommy John surgery. They did the reinforcement inside.
That's the new thing, man.
I don't know. Is
that the trend, or is that what is
I
necessary?
don't know. I mean, so far one of the examples is Trevor Story. He isn't even close to the old Trevor Story.
Yeah.
But as we've said before, he's 20 years old. Hopefully he heals quickly, and he's back sometime next year. But the best case scenario for that kid is to get back by the All-Star break next year and have a competitive team to come to. You want the Yankees to make the right moves. Going out and getting a guy like Shohei ain't the right move. That guy's going to be banged up. You asked me about Barkley. No, I'm not surprised Saquon Barkley's hurt. A lot of these guys are they're going to get hurt. They're going to get banged up. So whoever pays the money for Shohei next year, you're really tying yourself up for 8 or 10 years of pain. and you witnessed enough of it with Giancarlo Stanton and some of these other contracts. I would hope that the Yankees don't go in that direction.
New York Yankees 76-76, right on 500. They got a game tonight once again against the Blue Jays on this station. 6:25 with the pregame will kick us off the air. That's the 7:05 first pitch in the Bronx. Oh, first pitch in the Bronx. I did not know Stephen A. Smith got the nod tonight to throw the first pitch. What's your expectations?
3 bounces. No, I have none. I have none. Honestly, I have the fact that
he is going to milk the windup.
If he gets up on
pitches.
I'll tell you right now, if he gets up on the mound, it's a mistake. If he goes from flat ground in front of the mound, which is about 50 feet away, he's got a shot to throw it without bouncing it to the catcher. That's all you want to do. Don't try to throw hard. I just did that to Yard Goats. Threw it right by.
Yeah, but you got egged on by all your boys.
I know. My kids wanted to see how hard I could throw it on the jugs gun.
So
just try to play catch with the catcher.
But the real pitchers tonight, really good matchup. Jose Barrios against Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole's second to last. You think this is his last time going?
I'd say he's got one more after this.
Good for him, man. There's a lot of guys that are shutting it down.
Just because he's a proud guy and he's not going to say, no, I'm not going to miss my last start.
13-4 year, 2.8 ERA.
Dude,
I mean, Garrett Cole's
he should
been
be
Garrett
in the top
Cole.
5 of the Cy Young.
Garrett Cole's been Garrett Cole.
They've blown so many of his games in the bullpen, too. It's been awful.
Yeah, it's been a rough one.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back, continue to talk some sports, talk some Plan B, get you ready for Thursday night football. It's a huge game for the New York Giants versus the San Francisco 49ers. He's Ben. I'm Rob. It's the Rob Dibble Show with Ben Darnell on your afternoon drive. Thanks